Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the beginning of week 6 in the NFL. Welcome to Razor Sharp Picks and welcome to Hashtag Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this edition of Razor Sharp Picks. My name is Joe. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let me know your picks in the comment section. Hard to believe it's already week 6. Hard to believe after this week, we will be a third of the way done with the regular season. To me, that's crazy. It seems like the season just started yesterday, but we already have teams making a playoff push. We already have teams that you can see falling back in the pack, and we have teams meddling around the middle, right? And so right now, it's about time we find out which teams are contenders and which teams are pretenders as we get to the midway point of the season, as we get to colder weather. It's about time we see who the real teams are. Could the real Giants please step up? Could the real Dolphins please step up? Could some of these teams who are 2-3, 3-2 show us who they really are? And that includes both teams from the Super Bowl last year, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams. Who are they? Are they going to be playoff teams come January this year? But it all starts week 6, Thursday night football. And don't forget, guys, this is the first week that we have buys, okay? We have buys this week for the first time this season, and we will have buys throughout week 11 from here on out. So we will not have another full slate of games until week 12. So last week, week 5 was the last week of full slate games, 16 games up until week 12. Week 5, we did all right. We went 9-7 against the spread, 9-7 straight up, 10-5-1 against the spread. So overall, we're 45-35 straight up and 40-38-2 against the spread. Making a little money against the spread. Not a lot. Let's make a little bit more this week. Week 6, it starts Thursday night as the Commanders go up against the Chicago Bears. Remember last week's game? The Colts versus the Broncos was completely embarrassing for the NFL, for both those teams, for Amazon Prime. It did not look good. Well, this game might be just as bad. Now, I don't think it's going to be. I think it's hard to duplicate what we saw last Thursday, but this might be a good game because it's a game between two bad teams. You want to talk about those 2-3 teams who you want to know exactly who they are? Well, the Bears are one of those 2-3 teams. Now, I think we know who they are. I don't think they're a contending team just yet, right? I think Justin Fields needs a little time. Not sure if the Chicago Bears truly trust Justin Fields, not one who throws a lot of passes throughout a game. He has like 70 pass attempts this whole season. It seems kind of crazy to think that they want to give him this football team. They want to give him the keys to see. I just don't think they're there yet. The Commanders, Carson Wentz, just thrown under the bus by his head coach, Ron Rivera. So it'll be interesting to see how he responds. I think in this game, the Bears favored by a point. I like the Commanders. I think Carson Wentz is a professional. I think that he hurt himself getting called out by his head coach. I think he's going to step up to the challenge. I think that he is upset that he got called out by his head coach. He's mad about that, and that he is going to prove that he is still a good QB in this league. Listen, for all you haters of Carson Wentz, he's 4th in the league in passing right now, or 5th. I forget which one it is. Maybe 5th. Maybe Mahomes passed him again on Monday, but still top 5 in the league in passing yards. That's not too bad. You talk about a Commanders team not running the ball well, not playing great defense. So there's plenty of blame to go around if you're the Washington Commanders. Surprised that Ron Rivera decided to point straight to the quarterback and say he's the problem with this team. I think the Commanders win this game. I think the Commanders beat a 1-point underdog spread. Then you move on to Sunday. No London game this week. We had back-to-back week with London games. None this week. Sunday, the 1 o'clock games start with the Vikings going to Miami and playing the Miami Dolphins. Tua should be back for this game. I mean, again, hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully that he is fully recovered from those back-to-back concussions or back-to-back injuries, whatever you want to call them, whatever they were, got them back in consecutive weeks. Hopefully he is fully recovered from that before the Miami Dolphins put him back out on the field. But it sounds like Tua will be able to play this week. The Vikings come into this game after a hard-fought victory over the Cleveland Browns. I think the Vikings are a good team. The Vikings sitting at 4-1. Their only loss came on Monday night to the Eagles on the road. That Eagles team still undefeated. I think that's pretty good. I think the Vikings come in this game into Miami, where it's not nearly as hot as it was week 2 and week 3. It's going to be in the 80s this time. But I think the Vikings are able to throw the ball. Justin Jefferson having a phenomenal season. I think Kirk Cousins able to get the job done. The Vikings are 3-point favorites in this game. Give me the Vikings to win this game. Give me the Vikings to cover a 3-point spread on the road. The Patriots go to Cleveland, play the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, again, narrowly losing that game against the Minnesota Vikings. Back and forth game. Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs in the game, leading the league in rushing yards so far this season. For the Patriots coming off a shutout victory over the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions had a great offense going into that game, the number 1 offense in the NFL going into that game. Well, the Patriots shut them down. Now, the Lions are on a bye this week, but the Patriots come into Cleveland to play Cleveland Browns. And one thing that you can always say about Bill Belichick is he takes away a team's number 1 weapon. Who's the Browns' number 1 weapon? Nick Chubb. I don't expect Nick Chubb to have a good game in this one. I expect Nick Chubb to struggle mightily against a good Patriots defense. And with that being said, what are the Browns going to do without Nick Chubb running the football? I think the Browns have trouble scoring in this game. I would take the under. Whatever the over-under is in this game, I would definitely take the under. Give me the Patriots to win this game. The Patriots beat a 3-point spread as they're underdogs in this game. Browns 3-point favorite too. And the Patriots to win. Patriots beat that 3-point spread. Going on, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. We all know about the troubles the Steelers are having, especially if you're a Bills fan right now. You just saw what happened last week. The Buccaneers almost gave it up. If it wasn't for a very controversial roughing the passer call, the Falcons would have had a chance to beat the Buccaneers. Come back from what? I think it was 21-0 in that game. Come back in that game. Unfortunately, there was that roughing the passer call. Buccaneers escape with the victory. Can they beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh? I think that Pickett played pretty well against the Buffalo Bills. Now he goes home, right? He gets his first taste of a game in Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh, place where he played college at the University of Pitt. I think this Pittsburgh crowd is going to be 100% behind him, and I think that's just going to rejuvenate him. I think that's going to give this Steelers team a chance to get out early and get the edge. Now, they're not going to keep that edge, okay? But as 8-point underdogs at home, give me the Buccaneers to win this game, okay? The Buccaneers are going to beat the Steelers, but Pickett did throw for over 300 yards against the Bills, and this Buccaneers defense is not as good as the Buffalo Bills defense. Give me the Buccaneers to win this game. Give me the Steelers to cover an 8-point spread. You go to New Orleans, where the New Orleans Saints are 2.5-point underdogs against the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals coming off that disappointing divisional loss to the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday night. Pretty good game. Decent game. Saw 2 really good defenses. The Cincinnati Bengals had a hard time getting going in the first half, especially in that first quarter. But once they got going in the second half, I feel like you saw a lot of what you saw last year when they became the AFC champions. The Saints, on the other hand, struggling, right? Saints 2-3 on the year right now. Hill played a great game last week, right? 4 touchdowns for the Saints as the Saints beat the Seahawks in another game, high-scoring game that was back and forth. I like the Saints a lot. I think the Saints have a lot of potential, but at the same time, you look at this Bengals team, they know they got to start putting some victories together, right? They know that if they want to be a wild card team or if they want to contend with the Ravens for the AFC North, they really got to put some wins together. The Bengals go on the road and beat the New Orleans Saints. The Saints, 2.5-point underdogs. Give me the Bengals to win this game with the Bengals to cover a 2.5-point spread. Going to New Jersey, where the surprisingly 4-1 New York, New Jersey Giants are at home, playing up against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens with that big win on Sunday Night Football against the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously on a high from that. Listen, I don't know what we have in this New York Giants team. I don't understand them quite yet. They go into London, they beat the Packers, right? Other than that, most of their wins against mediocre to poor teams, right? I think they beat the Bears in there once. I think, some of the wins aren't against the higher echelon of competition. but they still beat the Packers last week in London. And that's impressive if you ask me. Now, they are 5.5-point underdogs. I could easily see them covering this game. I could easily see the Giants winning this game. I just don't see it happening. The Ravens win this game, but the Giants keep it close. In New Jersey, you know that crowd's going to be pumped up. Give me the Ravens to win the game. Give me the Giants to cover a 5.5-point spread. And speaking of those Packers, the Green Bay Packers are at Lambeau Field to play against the New Jersey Jets. So they go against one New Jersey team last week. They come up with a loss. What will they do this week now that they're at home playing against another New Jersey team? This Jets team coming off back-to-back wins for the first time in what seems like forever. Both the Giants and the Jets are having an above 500 record past week 5 for the first time in about a decade. It's been crazy to think about this New York, New Jersey teams and actually winning football for both of them. So congratulations to them. However, in this situation, the Packers, after losing last week, 7-point favorites in Lambeau Field. Given the Packers to win this game, the Packers will cover a 7-point spread. The last 1 o'clock game this Sunday is the Indianapolis Colts going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, two teams that have been very disappointing so far this season. Many thought both these teams were in the conversation as far as winning the AFC South this year. And let's be honest, through 5 weeks, they still both are, no matter how bad the record is. The Titans are looking to come into their own. They look like the Titans of old. They look like, they might be able to pull some wins together here and maybe even pull away in this division. They're on a bye week this week as well, the Tennessee Titans. So the Jaguars, big loss, disappointing loss to the Houston Texans last week, 13-6, in what was an ugly game. The Colts are looking like they're beginning to improve a little bit. Matt Ryan's looked like he's beginning to understand the offense a little bit. Now, I know they didn't have a great showing last Thursday, but at the same time, they've had 11 days to get ready for this game. Their running back might be healthier, right? Jonathan Taylor might finally get some more playing time after he was injured last week and wasn't unable to play last week. I think the Colts at home are going to win this game, even though they're favored by 2.5 points. Give me the Colts to win this game. Give me the Colts to cover a 2.5-point spread. You move on to the 4 o'clock games, and believe me, if you're a Bills fan, you're excited about those 4 o'clock games because you know what's coming. Probably the biggest game of the weekend, maybe the biggest game of the regular season. We'll get to that in just 1 minute. Before we do, we have 2 games, both in the NFC. You have the Cardinals going into Seattle to play against the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks 3-point underdogs in this one. The Cardinals lost last week against the Eagles, but they came really close to upsetting the only undefeated team left in the NFL. The Cardinals are playing really well. I like the Cardinals a lot. I think that they're getting better and better with each passing week. You need to get a field goal kicker, though. You get a field goal kicker that you can trust. The Seahawks look pretty good, right? Like, Geno Smith's playing ball. I don't know if you guys have not watched the Seattle Seahawks play. Geno Smith is playing ball. The Seattle Seahawks aren't to be fooled around with. They're not a team you can just look over, right? The Seattle Seahawks are playing good football. They did lose to the Saints last week. Again, after Tyson Hill had 4 touchdowns, it's hard to stop Tyson Hill no matter who you are, and he's proven that time and time again. Seahawks at home, always a tough place to play. But I like the Cardinals in this matchup. I think Cardinals win this NFC West matchup. However, the Seahawks cover a 3-point spread. It's a close game. In fact, I might get another tie with this game as the Seahawks are 3-point underdogs in this one. Give me the Seahawks to cover the spread. Give me the Cardinals to win the game. But again, this could be one where it lands on 3 points on the dot. I like this game. I think it's going to be very competitive. But I think the Cardinals come out on top. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Go to the Los Angeles, where the Rams trying to get back on the winning track. The Super Bowl champions from a year ago, not looking like champions right now. Go up against the Carolina Panthers. Panthers just firing their head coach, Matt Rule. So it's a new interim head coach steps in. You look at Baker Mayfield. He's probably not going to be able to play in this game with a high ankle sprain. So now they got to go to their third-string quarterback. Because remember, Sam Darnold is still hurt from what happened during the preseason. So Sam Darnold's out. Baker Mayfield's out. You go to the third-string quarterback. Can he hold his own against a decent Rams team. I look at this spot for the quarterback for the Panthers, and I think a lot of that game, Pittsburgh just played against Buffalo. You have a rookie quarterback or a young quarterback going on the road and trying to make something happen. Rams 10.5-point favorites, the only double-digit spread of the week. You guys know how I feel about double-digit spreads. I think the Panthers are able to cover the 10.5 points. I think it might be a 10-point game, 9-point game, whatever the case might be. Rams win this one, but that Rams offense, minus Cooper Kupp, really hasn't been the offense we saw last season. So I expect the Rams to win, but give me the Panthers to cover a 10.5-point spread. Don't see the Rams blowing out too many teams this season. Then we get into our game, right? If you're a Bills fan, you've had this game circled on your calendar since the season schedule came out, right? Since early May. You've circled this game in Kansas City. You cannot wait. Now, listen, if you're a Bills fan, or if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I'm going to tell you this right now. The media, the NFL, everyone is overhyping this game. I think that this game could determine home field advantage for either of these teams in the AFC playoffs, right? It very well could determine who's the number one overall seed. And that's important. That's very important. I'm not going to deny that. But it's still week 5. It's still only week 5. You have 2 4-1 teams. Even the loser of this game has plenty of time to make it up. The Chiefs still have a pretty tough schedule down the road. They play the 49ers right after the Buffalo Bills. The Bills play the Packers after a bye week right after this game. So both these teams have tough opponents coming up directly right after this game. Can't look past those either. The Chiefs coming off a Monday night victory where they had to fight pretty hard to get that victory. So they're coming in on a short week. The Buffalo Bills just blowing out a rookie quarterback, making his first start against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they have to travel to the Midwest. So this is going to be a very entertaining game. You have the top 2 candidates for MVP, in my opinion, going at it, and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. You have 2 very good offenses. Travis Kelce, 4 touchdowns on Monday Night Football. You look at the Buffalo Bills, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis had 2 huge touchdowns last week, and their rookies are now getting involved as well. I like this game a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be live streaming this game right here on #sports, so make sure you check that out. You know what? I've said this at the beginning of the season after I went against them one time. If you go with the Buffalo Bills, and if you pick the Buffalo Bills to cover the spread this whole season, you're not going to be disappointed. You're going to come out on top, and that's how I feel right here. Listen, the Chiefs being underdogs at home, that has to sting a little bit if you're a Kansas City Chiefs player, and that's going to make you come out with a little more fight in you, a little more dog in you. But I think this is the time the Buffalo Bills don't care. This is that you come at the Buffalo Bills with all you got, it doesn't matter. This Buffalo Bills team is legit. Poyer will be back. Edmonds will be back. I think this Buffalo Bills team proves that they are the team to beat, not only in the AFC, but in the NFL. Give me the Buffalo Bills to win this game. Give me the Buffalo Bills to cover a 2.5-point spread. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, another divisional matchup on Sunday Night Football, another really good matchup. A lot of these times when these two teams play, at least recent history, only one of these teams are actually good, but the NFL feels like you have to put these two teams in prime time. Now, I might not like the fact these two teams are always in prime time, but you got a really good game on Sunday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles at home, 5-point favorites, the last undefeated team in the NFL, going up against the Dallas Cowboys, whose defense has been playing lights out. Just beat the Rams last week. It doesn't matter who their quarterback is. The Cowboys defense is going to come to play, and you have to be ready for that. They are an amazing defense. I think they lead the league in sacks. I think they lead the league in a couple of defensive categories this season because this defense is probably the best defense in the NFL. It's either them or San Fran, 1 or 2. San Fran might be 2 simply because of the injuries. But this Cowboys defense is legit. This Eagles team is pretty awesome. Jalen Hurts getting it done, right? Jalen Hurts able to run the ball, running for touchdowns, which hurts if you have like Brown or someone like that on your fantasy team like I do. But at the same time, they're getting the job done. And that's all you can ask. 5-0 so far this season, 5-point favorites at home. The Eagles are going to win this game. Maybe if Dak was in, it'd be a little different. The Eagles are going to win this game, but man, this is going to be close. This is going to be a dogfight. This is going to be one that's decided in the last 2 minutes. Giving the Eagles to win, but the Cowboys will cover a 5-point spread. Speaking of 5-point spreads, not only is Sunday night a 5-point spread, you got a Monday night 5-point spread as well, as the Chargers are at home for another divisional matchup against the Denver Broncos. So you have a Sunday night divisional matchup, you have a Monday night divisional matchup. I think the NFL did really good in week 6 when it comes to the schedule minus Thursday night. Don't look at Thursday night, but they had to give NFL Prime something. And unfortunately, I think NFL Prime might have wanted to give this one back. But after last week, I think that the Commanders-Bears game will be a huge improvement. Not saying much, but I think that you'll get at least a touchdown. So that's exciting, right? Going to the Monday Night Football game, the Broncos at Chargers. I think that the Chargers come off that win against the Browns, are looking to keep pace with the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember, on Monday night, they'll know if the Chiefs lost to the Bills or won, and they'll know if a win will tie them at the top of the division or keep them a game back. The Broncos offense is just struggling. We just found out Russell Wilson's been playing through an injury since the Las Vegas Raiders game in week 2. And that might be some of the struggles, but man, he's been struggling so much. It's hard to believe that one minor injury is the reason for all those struggles. And I say minor only because he's playing through it, not because I actually think it is minor. I don't know if there are such thing as minor oblique tears or whatever he has. But still, Russell Wilson's struggling. And the Broncos overall are just struggling. The Chargers are looking pretty good. Justin Herbert, second in the NFL in passing. I think that this is a great Chargers team who could really contend with Kansas City Chiefs for that top AFC West spot. I know they already lost to the Chiefs earlier this year, but I think things might be different when we get to their second matchup as well. Give me the Chargers to win this game on Monday Night Football. Give me the Chargers to cover a 5-point spread. 2 AFC West Monday Night Football games in a row. You had one this past Monday when the Chiefs beat the Raiders by just 1 point. Then you have one this coming up Monday. Chargers going to beat the Broncos. And I think the Chargers this time cover a 5-point spread. So let's go through my picks one more time straight up. I got the Commanders, Vikings, Patriots, 49ers, Buccaneers, Bengals, Ravens, Packers, Colts, Cardinals, Rams, Bills, Eagles, Chargers against the spread. Commanders, Vikings, Patriots, Falcons, Steelers, Bengals, Giants, Packers, Colts, Seahawks, Panthers, Bills, Cowboys, and Chargers. Those are my week 6 picks. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know what your picks are. Give me a thumbs up, like this video, and if you haven't subscribed to Hashtag Sports, remember to subscribe. I will be live this Sunday for the game between our Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. I will see you all then. I hope to see you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.
Hello, fellow Bills fans. Sean Rogers, Realtor and lead of the Mr. Rogers Homes team. Did you know that real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth, and right now is one of the best times to own an investment property in Arizona? Please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions so we can take the next step to your financial freedom here in the Valley of the Sun, utilizing real estate. As always, God bless America and go Buffalo!